Shamiza on Inspire FM 105.1 FM. It is a wonderful morning and a great start to the week for me and hopefully for you as well. Thank you for tuning in to the show, which is the Urban Cube. And the Urban Cube is a celebration of arts and lifestyle across Luton surrounding areas and across the country and internationally as well, where I get a chance to speak to trailblazing Muslims who are making a difference in their communities and across many lives as well. Now, today's show is a special one because I'm joined by not one but two guests, and they're going to be talking about a very, very exciting award, an award that I'm really proud to be sharing with you guys. And I don't know if you're familiar with the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards. Yes, this is what we're going to be talking about today. And I have got 2 tickets to give away for these awards as well, which are actually happening on the 19th of October. And this award is going to be talked about today on the show by my 2 amazing guests who are going to be telling us a little bit of the back history of these awards, why it's important to be showcased, and what we can expect on the actual evening. And the guests that are going to be joining me today, and the topic today of the show is basically honouring Black Muslim excellence. And to talk to me today, I'm joined by 2 extraordinary sisters who are trailblazing in their field of creativity. On today's show, I'm going to be joined by Rakaya Fetuga and also Muneera Pilgrim. I'll be talking a little bit more in detail about their credentials on the show today, but I also want to remind everyone that you can actually catch the conversation on Facebook Live, and you can also ask any questions, get involved with the show on 0777 948 1822. My guests are going to be joining me via StreamYard, so they're not in the studio. I'll be joined by no other than the amazing Muneera Pilgrim. She is a name that you'll be very familiar with. Mashallah, she's exceptional. She's an international poet, cultural producer and broadcaster. That's just a little nutshell, in a nutshell, and what she does. I'll be going into a little bit more detail about the amazing contribution she has made, not just in the UK, but internationally as well. And I'm also this morning joined by no other than Rakaya Fetuga, and mashallah, another award-winning poet and writer. And Rakaya is actually from Northwest London. Rakaya is the winner of the National Roundhouse Slam and International Rooftop Rhythm Slam, and has received writing awards from the New York TV and Film Festival and Royal Holloway University of London. How extraordinary is she? And we're actually in for a treat. Not only are we going to be listening in to these exceptional sisters on today's show, not only are we going to be winning, hopefully somebody's going to win a pair of tickets to the amazing awards, which are, let me repeat this to you, the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025. We're also going to be hearing some live poetry, yes, on the show today by both our guests this morning. So there's so much to look forward to, and I'm in for a treat. I'm sure you are as well. And without further ado, it's an absolute pleasure to have Rakaya, who's joining us. You can actually see her on Facebook Live. Assalamu alaikum, Rakaya.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm very well. Now, this is not the first time I've had the pleasure of interviewing you. I interviewed you many, many years ago, and so I'm quite humbled to have you back on Inspire FM. I don't know if you remember joining me on the Urban Cube, and but you did.
Several years ago, wasn't it? So
it
it's
was.
nice to be back. Alhamdulillah, thank you for having me again.
It's an absolute treat. And I have been observing your creative journey, mashallah. You have done so much since I spoke to you last. So we're going to be finding out about that very, very shortly. But I want to ask you, Rakaya, I know that you are based in London, but you're not there at the moment, are you? You're somewhere else. Where are you?
Oh, well, I literally just got back from Belgium last night.
Wow. Wow. And
Yeah.
was that anything creatively led?
It was. I was performing at an event called Nuff Said,
Uh-huh.
which happened, it's based in Antwerp, but they hold events across Belgium and the Netherlands. That was my second time performing for them. So again, it was really nice to have a reunion and be back performing for them as well.
Well, that sounds exceptional. And how did it feel to be in Belgium performing? What was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it was really lovely actually. I think I'm always a little bit nervous when it comes to performing in different places. Even if it's like outside of London or outside of the UK, especially, just thinking about language differences and reference differences, and are they gonna understand what I'm saying, or even resonate with the themes. But well, first of all, mashallah, they're so multi-talented and multilingual out there. So yeah, English was not an issue. But also I felt that they really connected to the things that I was speaking about. And that is something that I've heard when it comes to poetry, that you can just talk about your experience very specifically, and talk about what's true to you, and you'll find that people can actually resonate really well because we are so connected across places and across all different backgrounds. So yeah, it was really lovely to be there, and also it's just interesting because they've got some different kind of uh, immigration history demographics. Um, so there's a big Congolese community there, as well as all sorts. But it was so lovely at the event, which was outside in like a kind of forest amphitheater type
Mhm.
place. And there were two people holding flags of the DRC, of Congo, and of Palestine. And the flags were just waving throughout the event, which was just so beautiful to see. And to see them side by side as well was really lovely.
What an experience. And thank you for sharing that with us. And well done, Belgium, for hosting this event. And may they do more and of these types of events and providing spaces like this, because it's really important that we are made aware of spaces like this because they do feel quite unique, don't they? And Rakaya, you've got a wonderful history of performing. Tell us a little bit more about your background and this passion for spoken word.
Yeah, so I've always been interested in storytelling in different forms. So whether it's poetry or fiction writing, even songwriting and theater. So I've always been interested in different creative arts and finding ways to tell stories and connect with people through that. I had lots of great inspirations growing up, including Muneera, who you're going to hear from soon. So I always had lots of role models, my father as well, with his creativity. So I never had to reach very far for that example of a Muslim creative. So alhamdulillah, I had many examples and inspirations around me that I felt I was able to, be totally authentic when it came to my faith, but also to explore my creativity in many ways, and that wasn't something counterintuitive. Um, yeah, were you going to ask something?
So this is the beauty of it and the beauty of your creative journey, because you were able to unapologetically share your inner self and inner beauty through your work, and with the support of the family as well, which is really inspiring to hear. And this is what really makes this award really, really exciting, because there's a legacy of performers that you've been inspired by, who are going to be present at the awards. Tell us a little bit about the awards that you're going to be talking to our listeners a bit about.
Yeah, the awards. So yeah, there's definitely going to be lots of creative examples, role models, familiar names that are going to be present at the awards, who have won awards in the past and who are presenting awards or hosting. Um, and what I do love about the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards is that it's in there's so many categories and so many fields. So there's actually 11 categories. So as well as the performing artists and all of those awards, there's also awards for like people in STEM, business owners, just all sorts of community things that we should be proud of, I suppose. Yeah, that we want to showcase.
And
Um,
the list is wonderful, and I've got the list in front of me. And so we have Women's Advocate of the Year, and also STEM Champion of the Year. There's a social media influencer. There's performing artist, journalist, media professional, business entrepreneur, and philanthropist of the year. These are just some of the award categories. Do you have a favorite, Rakaya, on this list? Is there one that you've got your eye on?
I mean, yeah, I suppose as a performing artist, it's always exciting to see, who else is being celebrated in my category.
Indeed, and that's really exciting for me as well, because it's great content for my show. It's wonderful. And there is a nomination form, isn't there, for people to, because the awards are happening on 19th of October. There is a link for a nomination award. This is for the public to nominate their favorite person for these awards. And so how can people actually access the nomination form?
Yeah, so if you're on Instagram, you can go to the link in the bio of the Black Muslim Award, and it will be in the bio. You can buy your tickets there and also nominate. So nominations close this week, I believe, on the 7th.
Ooh.
So yeah, there's just a week to put in the names of anyone you want to champion for these awards. And yeah, you can also sign up to their email list. So yeah, there's several ways you can get in touch and get the link. I'm sure a Google would work as well.
Indeed. 7th of September, folks, that is the deadline for the nominations. So please do check out on Instagram. It is give us a link again, the UK Black Muslim Awards. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, the Black Muslim Awards.
Not too difficult to find, and the nominations, the list link is there, and there's so many different categories. I'm sure there is somebody inspiring that get their name down, nominate them, and this is a real celebration of talent from all sectors, the creative sector, from the charity sector, the business sector, so many different categories. And I think it's really important that we celebrate the contribution of our Black community, our Black Muslim community, and really, really shout out loudly and proudly about the amazing space that they hold and the contributions that they have in our lives. And there is somebody that we're all very familiar with, is Brother Khalil Muhammad, who is a well-known voice on the radio at Inspire FM. And I had the pleasure of speaking to him about these awards last year, and I was so excited then. So when I saw the awards coming up again, I need to speak to somebody again, because for me, I think, and being part of a Muslim radio station, I think we need to be amplifying the diversity of our Muslim communities. And do you feel this is done enough across the board, Rakaya? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it definitely could be done more. And I feel in the UK, there might be a lot of situations where, you know, you're entering a Muslim event, but you feel like the people are quite homogenous when it comes
Mm.
to ethnicity or cultural background. So instead of, you know, saying, okay, you need to include us in this, you need to include us in this, it's like we're offering something with these awards. So we're inviting everyone to come and experience the multitude of cultures under African and African Caribbean Muslims under that title. And, you know, of course, it is so important in Islam. We were created in nations and tribes so that we could know one another. So in order to know one another, we need to, you know, experience, speak to one another, come and learn about different cultures and different ethnicities. So yeah, I think it's really positive to do something that is celebratory. And recently I went to an event. It was titled For Sudan, and it was part of the Shabak Festival. And what the organizers were saying is that to have people care about a cause, of course, we know that the Sudanese people are suffering the worst humanitarian crisis in the world right now. And, you know, there's many causes, but with this particular one, the organizers were saying that in order for people to care, they have to know a culture, they have to love a culture, to care about when it's being erased, when it's being, you know, eradicated
Mhm.
through war and violence. Um, so before we get to that point, you know, of needing donations, needing support, needing you know, people to care and support us, I think it's important to just have that time of this is who we are, and you know, come and join us. This is for everyone. I think you might see the title and think, oh, maybe this is only for Black people to attend, but no, it's just giving a space where we're able to platform these voices and be free to learn and come together and share and enjoy in that.
Indeed, and it is definitely a celebration, and we're going to allow you guys to be part of that celebration because, folks, we're giving a pair of tickets away for this amazing event, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you that would want to grab hold of the tickets. The event is happening on 19th of October, and the event that I'm talking about is no other than the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025, and we have 2 tickets to give away for the event. And the question is very, very simple, folks. Okay. The answer is going to be, hopefully, I'm not going to give away too many clues to the answer. I have a tendency of doing that. I will be announcing the winner right at the end of the show. But the question I have is, what date is the event happening? What date is the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025 happening? Now, if you are listening into the show, then and you're continuing to listen, you might hear the answer somewhere. But I don't want to make it too difficult for you lot because it's Monday morning, and I'm sure you're listening to your favorite show, and I'm full of happy vibes, and I've got the amazing, beautiful sister Rakaya here as well. And you know what? She's going to be giving us a bit of a treat because she's going to be performing a piece of poetry for us on the show as well. And Rakaya, I'm really looking forward to hearing you in action. How I wanted to ask you, how are you connected with the awards itself? Will you be performing there on the night? Or?
No, although, so this is actually the 7th one, and it started very small and it's just grown and grown over the years. It's going to be happening in a beautiful hotel this year with a sit-down dinner and lots of
Mm,
performances. I'm not performing this year, but in the past I have performed. And I have also won an award, which was really, really special. So lovely
amazing.
to be recognized by the community in that way. So yeah, this year I'm just supporting. I love what it stands for, and I just want to be part of it to, you know, kind of give back. So I'll be supporting on the night, but not performing this time. So you'll just hear me on Inspire FM this
Wow,
year.
well, and it's an exclusive just for us. It can't get better than that. And I'm really delighted to hear that it's been running for 7 years, and I only heard about it last year. I didn't know about the awards. So
Yeah.
how can we, or how can the awards be more apparent to more people?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think um yeah, it's a very good question. I
Um,
think
uh,
they're working on their social media, trying to be more present in that way, on just getting the word out through word of mouth and leafleting. But definitely, if you're able to share, anyone listening, you're all welcome to share the link with a friend, with a family member, go on social media and post about it online. And even more importantly is to come, to buy a ticket and or win a ticket on Inspire FM. Come and share your experience. Share about what happened, what you saw when you were there, who was celebrated, and spread the word that way. So the event is coming up. I think that's the best way to just experience it.
Indeed.
Come and be together in the space and take pictures and post about it online and hopefully get the word out even more for the next one.
It's as simple as that, folks. Make sure you do. And the social media handles is at Black Muslim Awards. Now, Rakaya, I would like to hand over the mic to you, as they say. And I believe you've got a piece that you're going to be performing for us exclusively on Inspire FM, the Urban Cube Show.
Yes, I'm going to be performing a poem called Shine. So, this poem actually I wrote it for a project, which I think is still available on YouTube and on some other streaming platforms. But it was called the Black and Muslim in Britain Project. So, it was all about the experiences of Black Muslims in the UK. So, I thought it would be a relevant poem to share. And this poem is called Shine. For everyone that reaches Juma with a cocoa butter shine, high tops and fresh trims, hijabs, head wraps, and scarf pins. For the young ones who roll with Oyster card and tasbih. For every uncle with a goatee, every taqwa-filled auntie ready to whip out their pocket Qur'ans on the high street. For all you melanated Muslims, African, Caribbean, who call this cloudy little island home, might live in British red brick or high rise, but gather under blue domes to praise the greatest love their souls have ever known. I see you, even when your own communities do not, even when they pretend that you're invisible and you start to think you are, or they tell you you're too big, too bright, and you start to think you are. I see your Bkhor and blue magic beauty, your leather socks and afro pics. I see you cooking up a storm on a Friday, so many cultures in the mix, so many languages. This complex, multifaceted, smart, passionate, talented collective we are. Black British Muslims existing here like one drop of Zamzam. Within it, a whole spring of difference. Keep sharing your magnificence in every shade. We are the answers to prayers our ancestors made. And Allah did not give us right here, right now, to be anything but us.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Rakaya, for sharing
Thank
this beautiful
you.
piece called Shine. I'm just smiling. I'm really smiling. It was exceptional. It was so upbeat and it was so refreshing. You should be absolutely so proud of this piece of
Thank you
poetry.
so much.
Now, our listeners, I'm sure, would love to know how can they connect with you, Rakaya? We've got about a minute left to the end of till we get to the break.
Okay, well, you can find me on social media as well. So my name is spelled Rakaya, and then my middle name is Esime, Esime. So you can find me as Rakaya Esume on many platforms, or if you just search Rakaya Fetuga, that's my surname, you can find me that way as well.
It's been such a treat having you joining us this morning. Thank you so much for being here, sharing that beautiful piece, and talking to us about the awards as well. Folks, it's now, we're heading to a break. Rakaya, is there anything you'd like to say just before you go? We've got about 44 seconds.
Just thanks so much for having me, Shamiza, and I hope to see so many of you at the African Caribbean Muslim Awards.
Indeed, and we are looking forward to sharing the competition to make sure we get as many people coming down too. Thank you so much for your time, Rakaya. That was the absolutely amazing and talented Rakaya Fetuga who joined us today to talk about the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards, and we'll be joined by another exceptional, talented individual by the name of Muneera Pilgrim. She'll be joining us straight after the break, and we'll be talking more about how you can grab a pair of tickets to the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025. Join me straight after this. Assalamu alaikum.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum, I am Kamaluddin. You are listening to Inspire FM 105.1 FM.
AK Windows South Limited, manufacturers and installers of high-quality UPVC windows and doors, bifold doors, composite doors, conservatories, porches, skypods, fascias, guttering, and much, much more. We specialize in double glazing and triple glazing using the best German profile. If you want quality at affordable prices, AK Windows is the place to go. If your house needs a facelift, you know who to trust. For a free quote, call AK Windows today on 01582 483 777 or visit us at Unit 10E, Britannia Estate, Leagrave Road, Luton.
How many times have you needed urgent medical supplies but don't know where to go? At Harris Pharmacy, we take pride in delivering a high-level healthcare to our community. This is why we have services such as private one-to-one consultation, free prescription ordering from GP and delivery to your home, mobility aids such as providing wheelchairs and many other items for everyday use. Call us today on free phone 0800 458 2850 to discuss your medical needs. We are open from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday to Friday and 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Harris Pharmacy, 165 A/B, Dunstable Road, Luton.
Back to school tips on Inspire FM. This tip is for parents, so parents listen carefully. To help you get back into the routine of your child going back to school, get used to going to bed slightly earlier so that you can also wake up earlier and have a more productive day. This is to imitate the time you have to wake up to drop your children off at school. Tune in to Inspire FM for more back to school tips.
Need a ride? Village Taxis has you covered. Going to the airport, station, work, hospital or school? Call Village Taxis on Luton 250-250 for a quick, reliable service. New drivers wanted? Get registered today and join the Village Taxis team, serving Luton, Central Beds, TfL, Wolverhampton, Hertfordshire and beyond. Taxi rental also available. Download our easy-to-use Village Taxis app or call on 01582 250 250 to book your ride today. Village Taxis, your local taxi company.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hamza. Continue listening to Inspire FM 105.1 FM.
While the world watches the crisis in Gaza unfold on the news, MATW is there, on the ground, right now, actively operating inside Gaza, delivering critical aid directly to those who need it. Medical supplies, food, clean water, and emergency shelter when it matters. Your donation can save lives right now, on the ground. Text MATW to 70470 to donate £10 or visit matwproject.org.uk, because when it matters most, we're there.
होशियार रहें, कुछ लोगों ने फ्रॉड का एक नया तरीका अपना लिया है। वो आपके घरों पर इंस्पायर एफएम और दीगर चैरिटीज के नाम पर चंदा मांगने आते हैं। इनको कुछ भी देने से पहले इनका आईडी कार्ड या फिर इस चैरिटी से राब्ता करके तसल्ली कर लें कि कहीं आप गलत शख्स को रकम तो नहीं दे रहे। इंस्पायर एफएम कम्युनिटी अवेयरनेस मैसेज।
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 10:30.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and assalamu alaikum. It is 10:30, 1st of September, and you are listening to the Urban Cube with me, Shamiza, on the second half of the show. We are going live and direct to the wonderful people of Luton surrounding areas, Peterborough Salam Radio, and Sheffield's Link FM. Thank you for joining me on the second half of the show, and it's absolutely wonderful to be in your company. I'm having a brilliant time in the studio this morning, doing everything that I love doing. And one thing that I absolutely adore is poetry. And we are in an absolute treat today because I had the pleasure of listening into the amazing Sister Rakaya Fetuga right at the beginning of the show, and we're in for another treat because we've got another stellar guest who is going to be performing another piece for us. And I'm quite excited because I have watched this amazing sister's journey for over a decade. I've never had the pleasure of interviewing her. I do today. So if I'm a little bit excited, please forgive me. She is an inspiration to many, and in particular to me, to her confidence, her articulation, her passion and commitment for her artistry. Needs to be shouted about, and mashallah, she is joining us today. She's familiar to Luton because she has performed in Luton in the past, which is wonderful, which we'll talk about as well. And the reason why my wonderful guest is joining us today is to talk to us about the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025. It has been running for about 7 years. I only found out about it last year when I had the pleasure of speaking to Brother Khalil Mohammed about it. So I thought, I am not going to miss this chance. I need to share this with my listeners. And the reason why we're sharing it, because there is a nomination opportunity for you guys to nominate a prestigious person from the African and African Caribbean community, the Muslim community. You have an opportunity to nominate them, and the nomination ends by 7th of September. The awards are on the 19th of October. To tell us more about this exceptional award is no other than the absolutely wonderful Sister Muneera Pilgrim. Now, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about her. Muneera Pilgrim is an international poet. She's a cultural producer, writer, broadcaster, and community researcher. She's also a TEDx speaker and WOW Festival speaker. She performs, conducts workshops, guest lectures, hosts, and finds alternative ways to educate and exchange ideas while focusing on methodologies of empowerment for non-centered people. At heart, Muneera is a storyteller concerned with telling stories to disrupt mainstream narratives of non-centered people globally. Muneera was awarded a 5-year writing residency with Bristol Old Vic in January 2025, and a debut poetry collection, That Day Shall Proclaim Her Chronicles, was published by Burning Eye Books and is available wherever books live. And today she is with us live in a wonderful space. We're going to talk about that space on Inspire FM. Without further ado, Assalamu alaikum, Muneera.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for that introduction. It was so warm and so wonderful. I just really appreciate it. Thank you.
Totally deserved, my dear sister. Thank you so much for doing what you do and being with us today. Now, I'm looking at you via Facebook Live. People, you can join us via Facebook Live. Muneera, you are sat in a very bright place. It's very artistic, very reflective of you. Tell us, where are you right now? What can we see?
So essentially, I also do work as a mental health practitioner. I manage a team of low intensity therapists who go out into schools and work with young people in communities in different spaces here in Bristol between the ages of 11 and 25. And this is one of the therapies room, basically. I like to come into the therapies room on a Monday, just sort of sort my week out to figure out what I need to do and prioritize. So that's where I am currently.
Well, thank you for sharing this extra bow on your hijab, mashallah. And mental health is very, very important to explore. And I think artists, creative practitioners are best fitted in this space as well. What's your experience like using your creativity in this sector of mental health?
I think that like there are so many different models of mental health. Like you have the sort of educational model, you have the sort of like medical model, and like all of these models, the health model, all of these models are really well. But when we look at the roots of mental health, a lot of the roots, not saying the only root, but for a lot of people, they're struggling because society's so tough at the moment, right? Because what it's to do with finances, what it's to do with their identity and how they're perceived within society. And so in terms of social prescribing, I think creativity, expression, art is invaluable to it, right? And it really, really helps to support and to develop. Not saying that's the only way, but I think it's definitely a first sort of juncture. And I think for myself, I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I didn't bring my creativity into it. Whatever happens next, wherever people get referred onto, but I think the expression, the sense of self, the sense of who we are and identity is so important in mental health. And even scholars like Imam El-Ghazali, who I see as one of the first psychologists, right, has talked about expression, has talked about knowing the self, has talked about the different forms of the self. And I think creativity gives people platform to find those various different sorts of things. So it's vital to the work that I do.
Indeed, and it's so beautiful, and how holistic your work is as well, and what you're giving out to so many people is very much needed. Muneera, I want to talk to you about perceptions. You spoke about that just now, how we perceive mental health, but I want to ask you something a little bit more personal regarding perceptions of Black Muslims in Britain. How are they being perceived?
I think that's such a important question, and it's also such a wide question, right? And I think for myself, I think first of all, there's a degradation and dehumanization of Black people generally, right? So I think that is going to be seen as negative. But then also you have a degradation within this society, at least, of Muslims, right? And so that is going to be looked down upon. And so I think one of the obvious answers is that there is this idea that there is a dehumanization, really, of Blackness and of Muslimness, and in some spaces, there's this idea that Blackness is compatible with being Muslim, even though, like, you look in ancient civilizations and you see that like Muslims have always been in these spaces. And I think also there's positive ideas of what it means to be Black and what it means to be Muslim. I think there's a lot of activism that comes in that space. And I think sometimes when we think about Islam, there's so many things that we could think of, like the spirituality, which is important, right? And it is very much us, but actually that is not complete if it's not thinking about community as a whole. So I think there is a perception of of Black Muslims too that is pushing the boat, that is trying to fight for rights and for justice and for all Muslims, And I do believe that like there's a positive idea of like creativity and storytelling and narrative, and we're starting to see Muslims excel in Black Muslims excel in science and other things like that. So I think there's a lot of, it depends what community you go to, and there's always going to be negative stereotypes, but I think the examples of Black Muslims out there is so wide and so far reaching that you really can't deny what is happening in Black Muslim communities. So I think it's varied.
And these examples of Black Muslim excellence is moving on to the topic of the show today, and it's all around honoring this excellence, and which brings me nicely on to the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025. Yay! Tell us, Muneera, your experience of the awards, why they are so important, and why my listeners need to nominate.
Well, first of all, I'll say something. I stalk even though I'm a part of the organization now, I stalk the organizers because they invited me to perform once or to host once, I think it was. And since then, I've just like, you've got to get me involved. I'm always like, okay, so I'll see you at the next one, right? Because it is such a good initiative. It's the energy on the day is so brilliant. There's so many people coming together to celebrate each other. Like there's something about having a space where you see yourself. Sahaima Matsukan, she has a book. I forgot what it's called. I think it's something like seeing ourselves for ourselves. But I think that concept of being able to see ourselves and to celebrate ourselves for ourselves, I think there's something that's really important. And that doesn't mean it's not open to other communities. And that's also a really beautiful thing because you always see different communities in that space also celebrating the excellence, celebrating the striving, but also even celebrating the things that are not excellent insofar as, and I don't mean that, I guess what I mean by that is that like excellence sustained, as a mental health practitioner speaking, could be something that is very problematic, but like just all of the good that is happening in the community and to see that various other communities come to witness that and that we get to witness ourselves and see people that we haven't seen for ages and learn because, thinking about Black Muslim communities, it's also quite varied, right? You have
Indeed.
Caribbean communities, you have like people from, and even that is varied in itself, but have people from East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, South Africa, from all around South America. And so just to be like, oh, we're together in this, it's very beautiful. And I would recommend anyone to come. There's always jokes, there's always food, good food, and there's a lot of fun, a lot of like spirituality and God consciousness and something to center you back to Allah and like, yes, I am a part of this community. So it's wonderful.
And listeners, you can be part of this community. You can attend this event because we've got 2 tickets to give away. And the question is, what's the date of the event? What is the date of the end? It's so simple. It's not hard at all. I mean, like, if you don't get that, goodness me. Now, in order to enter the competition, 07779481822, we will roll this on after the show as well, and I'll contact you directly. Leave the answer on this WhatsApp number and also your details, inshallah. Now, we've only got 2 tickets, but if there's people that want to attend the event, because I'm giving away 2 tickets as a prize. Have I repeated that 3 times, people? How can people connect with the awards? Where else can they log into to get access a ticket?
Well, you get access from a ticket in various places, but I would actually say probably one of the best places to look for Black Muslim, Black African and African Caribbean awards on Instagram. And the reason why I say that is because people are then able to keep up to date with the nominations, who will be there, the various different artists, and like you can join the community. You could join the people who are having a conversation about it. So I think social media is definitely the best place, and I think Instagram is definitely the best place for that as well.
I've given a follow. Because I'm nosy like that. No,
you're more than welcome.
And it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now, Muneera, is there a special category that you've got your eye on? Are you going to put a nomination in?
I'm always interested in creative categories. Being biased, I am absolutely. But yeah, it is going to be like creative artists that I'm going to be interested in and looking out for. And it always excites me to see like new people coming through and new artists coming through. So yeah. And also I think community worker, there's always an award around community workers. And I think those people who give back to community and continue to do so, I think like it's so easy to live, even though we realize we are a Muslim community, it's so easy to allow individuality to kind of take over us without even realizing. And so when people are able to be dedicated to community and be in service, I think it's just really vital, really important, and it keeps us going. So I think that's another award that I'm really excited for.
It does sound exciting and definitely a space that needs to be celebrated. So many different categories. I mean, it was so varied and wonderful to see. So I think I might be doing one more, more than one nomination, I feel. Folks, if you're listening in, you are tuned into the Urban Cube. It is 10:44 and I'm joined by the extraordinary Muneera Pilgrim, mashallah, who's talking to us about a very spectacular award that's happening, African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards 2025. This is happening on the 19th of October and the venue is the Crown Hotel Cricklewood, which is northwest London, on Sunday the 19th of October. And there are tickets available. Do go on to Instagram to check out the Black Muslim Awards link. But today we're giving away 2 tickets to the event. And all you have to do, folks, is tell us what is the date of the event. WhatsApp us on 07779481822 for a chance to win a pair of tickets to this very prestigious and historical event as well. It's been running for 7 years, mashallah, and may it continue to keep on launching and showcasing these distinguished individuals. Now, coming to you, Muneera, I mean, mashallah, you have an extraordinary creative journey and you have been at the forefront in making sure that there's a space for Muslim women in the creative industry, but also, positioning yourself as a trailblazer too. I mean, when I was going through your bio, I was like, wow, it just seems like you're so young as well, and you've done so much. What has been that pinnacle moment for you?
What has been that pinnacle moment for me? Such an interesting question. Oh my goodness, it's such an interesting question. I feel so honored to be a creative artist. At times it's been very difficult, and I think there's like so many different things that I could pinpoint. But like, I think for many artists, but certainly for myself, like I've struggled with my mental health and my well-being. And so there's always this thing about, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And of course I'm good enough, right? But I think there's always been that. So I think one of the things that one of the pinnacle moments was probably when I got my poetry collection published with Ben & I Books. Ben & I Books is a local indie printing press, and they say that they're never knowingly mainstream. But I think there's a lot of politics when it comes to poetry. And like, there's this idea that like, there's poetry and there's spoken word, and spoken word is to be heard, poetry is for the page, right? But I think part of that is a trap to try and make sure that also people don't have longevity. Because, for example, if you have a poetry collection, you can get into certain festivals, there's a lot that you can do, right? And also you always find that it tends to be Black and brown people or people from marginalized communities, working class communities that don't have poetry collections. And so I never imagined that was even on the cards for me. And so I think when I got my poetry collection and I started like touring around with my poetry collection, that for me was a real changing moment. And that was only in 2021. And I've been performing and doing creativity for over 20 years. But like, I think that was definitely a moment for me.
Mashallah, and congratulations on that, and may you have more books on the shelf, inshallah. Now, on that note, you know what I'm going to ask you next, right? It would be an absolute pleasure for myself on the Urban Cube and for our listeners if you could perform a piece from your collection today, Muneera.
Okay, thank you so much. This piece is called El Kabid, and it goes like this. The night is buried in the endless hole that is a womb. Cascading into darkness is nothing but embryotic fluids, life and death and birth, nothing but umbilical cords tight around your neck, gripping as you wheeze in search of air. Nothing but contraction and dilation, birth and growth. The dark holders, wrenched us like daffodils and plucked in springtime into existence out of nothingness. Kun fire kun, the perfect backdrop for us to grow. catches us as we descended into collapsing gases and burnt out suns. They got it right. Those who wander in congregations attired in lightless hoodies and live in it like it is skin, these glowing black suns know that light is the brightest against the backdrop of black. Not all that is bright, not all that is bright is warm. Thank God for our silhouette and our shadows that highlights our shades and our contours. Thank you.
Mashallah. Wow. Another amazing piece that was performed by Muneera Pilgrim. Tell us the inspiration behind this piece and give us the title as well, please.
Okay, so basically the title is El Kabid, which is essentially the restrictor. And I think like the idea behind it was that, like, again, oftentimes when I don't know, there's this, we need to feel joy, right? Feel happiness and feel all of these things that excite us in this world. But like, we know that true joy is with our Lord, right? And we won't experience that true joy, that true happiness with our Lord. And in the meantime, it could be seen that like when negative things happen, it's a bad thing or it's a punishment, or it could seem like, you know, when we talk about even just the word black, for example, the word black is seen as a negative in the dictionary. There's so many negative connotations, but actually it is those shadows. It is, you know, you think about the growth of flowers, how they start as seeds. You think about us being plucked into existence out of nothingness. Allah saying kun fayakun, be, and it is. Like all of that happens in shadowy shades and darkness. And actually, those are often the things that helps us to grow. And when we think about growth, oftentimes there's a time of restriction before we are able to grow. And that's what that poem is about, essentially.
Really inspiring and very cathartic as well, because this level of growth that we have and the journeys that we have with it. But I love the Islamic kind of connotations and nuances that you've been able to interject in this tapestry of words. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure people want to know where else we can hear Muneera. So Muneera, are you performing anywhere? What are your social media handles?
Yes, so my social media handles, which thank you, because I never ever promote myself on social media. Why do I not do that? But anyway, Muneera_Pilgrim or Muni Pilgrim. So Muni Pilgrim or Muneera_Pilgrim. If you put any of those two in, then it will come up. And I am performing, I think I'm probably going to be performing at the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards show. There's an event surrounding death and passing over, which I'm going to be performing at in London. I'm performing in Bristol. If you just follow me and also follow my mailing list, and you'll be able to get all of the exciting things that I'm doing. I've just got a 5-year, sort of like fellowship with a theatre. So hopefully I'll be making theatre soon. So you'll be able to.
Do you know what? I'm going to click to that. Can I click to that? And that's a you know, we don't clap when we listen to poetry. We tend to click in an audience. And I want to, you know what? Congratulations on that. That's huge. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Muneera will be presenting on the stage. Now, we've got about 2 minutes left on the show. Muneera, talk to us once again about the awards, why people need to attend these awards and how they can get access to the nomination.
Yes, so basically attend the awards because it's a brilliant initiative that celebrates the African and African Muslims in the community. It also celebrates the wider community supporting other communities. Like from whatever community you're from, come and support, celebrate, enjoy on the day, and just be able to sing and champion those people who are doing good works. I would say, again, the best way to really be a part of the community is to follow the African and African Caribbean Muslim Awards on social media, particularly on Instagram. You've seen a lot of interesting videos. There's links in there to how to get tickets. There's more information on the link in terms of like what's happening on the night. And as more things get added into it, more performers, more speeches, more talks, you'll be able to be a part of that. So yeah, definitely join that.
Indeed, definitely mark that in your calendar, 19th of October. Oh, did I just give away the answer? That is the date of the event, folks. The competition will remain open even up to next week because we have till the 19th of October. But when the awards will happen, I'm definitely going to be following them on social media, and also Rakaya and Muneera, who have been my stellar guests this morning on the Urban Cube, sharing some exclusive poetry on the show as well. Muneera, any last words you'd like to give to our listeners today? We've got about a minute left.
Just to say, first of all, you have been a stellar host, and like just Luton community, I love you. I know it goes further out, but I love you. You have been foundational in my growth, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I hope you come to the award show.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Muneera, for joining us today and sharing with us your journey and your truths as well. And that's the most important thing. We have to have the realization that, every community has barriers, and I'm hoping that this will be a real beautiful bridge in making us more aware of our responsibilities that we have to the Black and African Muslim communities too. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to the awards. Thank you so much, Muneera.
Thank you. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum. That was the amazing Muneera Pilgrim talking to us about the upcoming awards and the competition. I'm going to roll over to next week as well to win 2 tickets. It is the end of the show, folks. Stay blessed, stay bright, stay beautiful, and join me next week, same time on the Urban Cube. Assalamu alaikum.